This is an experiment. What do billionaires, cultural icons, and world class athletes have in common? I'm about to find out. I'm John Aguilar, serial entrepreneur, former decathlete, and creator and host of the CNN Philippines business reality show The Final Pitch. Each week, I try to unlock the secrets of Asia's world class performers to come up with hacks that I can apply in my own life. My goal is to have you apply them in yours. This is the podcast designed to change your life. This is Methods to Greatness. Methods to Greatness is powered by Converge. Experience better. If you'd like to work with Converge, check them out at gofiber.ph or connect with them through their social media channels. Methods to Greatness is also powered by Perfect Health Philippines, a leading provider of innovative and premium massage and healthcare products to customers across Southeast Asia. This partnership is all about improving people's lives, health, and well-being. Visit perfecthealthph.com to know more. Greetings to our listeners from the Philippines, Asia, and beyond. As the founder of Renopedia, Singapore's #1 online renovation portal, our next guest knows how it is to build something from the ground up by leveraging on digital technology. This young entrepreneur helps both large interior design firms and small companies take their digital advertising campaigns to the next level to ensure that no one gets left behind in today's fast-paced and competitive business landscape. Through his leadership and vision, Renopedia made 3 million Singapore dollars in revenue, a feat they achieved amid and despite the pandemic. His vision now is to grow Renopedia and take over the Southeast Asian market. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome on today's episode of Methods to Greatness, James So. Hi, James.
Hi, everyone. Hi, John. Thanks for inviting me here.
Thanks for being here, James. You are one of the inspiring young millennial entrepreneurs over there in Singapore. But as I understand, you were not originally from there. You actually were born in Malaysia. You're actually Malaysian.
Yes and no. Okay. The yes is because I was born in Malaysia. Yeah, you're correct. So I was born in JB. So I was brought to Singapore by my parents, I think at the age of 3. So actually I achieved Singapore PR at the age of 5. Yeah, so I achieved Singapore citizen. So I'm actually literally a Singapore citizen, but I was born in Malaysia. Yeah.
Okay. What was that like? I can just imagine, two different countries, and I believe your parents are Malaysian as well.
Yeah, I still can recall. I think that was when I was around 3. I have some memories lah. I know when I was around 3 years old, I was being brought to Singapore. Actually, my memory, the thing that I can recall, I think should be when I was in Singapore that time. My parents, they rent a very very small room inside a HDB flat. Singapore, for government flat is called HDB flat. So this HDB flat is a very small flat. So they rented a very small room. So at the moment of time, I think me, my parents, we basically like slept on a single size bed. This is what I can recall. So around 5 years old, what I can recall is that we got Singapore citizenship. I got to shake hand with a minister of Singapore, one of the minister. But that was still very young. So if you say any cultural difference, not much, because I was very young at the moment of time.
Yeah, and really when you're that young, you're malleable, right? I mean, you can roll with the punches wherever life takes you. You're pretty much not set on what it is that you're used to because, at 3, you're like a sponge. I think any barriers in terms of language, culture can easily be broken down if you're 3 years old.
I think the challenge actually don't lies in me. The challenge actually lies with my parents because when they came here, I think they are around at the age of late 20s. Yeah, so they have to face a challenge because my mother, I think in Malaysia, I think she studied until primary school. Then my father, he was like only secondary school. Then my mother cannot speak English. My mother had problem speaking English, so she is very Chinese speaking. My father at least better. His English is not that good. It's not that good. His Chinese are still okay. Yeah, so I think the cultural challenge, I think it's being faced by my parents. So I consider fortunate that I don't need to go through what they go through.
Right. One of the interesting things about your background is that you actually quit school. So you actually dropped out of school to join a multi-level marketing company. Take us through that experience of, you getting an education and eventually just deciding maybe this isn't for you, and pursuing something that I guess was quite an interesting experience for you.
Yes, that was a very interesting experience. I still remember when I was 19 years old. You know, in Singapore, every man had to have to go through this thing called the national service. Means we have to serve army. In Singapore, is called is everyone have to go through that. Every guys have to go through that. So at 19 years old, when I was still in national service, I started to ponder about my life because I actually have two placing in university. Singapore, there's this university called NUS, National University of Singapore. They actually gave me two slots. That means I can either study architecture or computer engineering. But both of these subjects is not what I wanted in life. If you ask me what I wanted in life, actually I don't know. At that moment of time, it's just like, life take me where, I just go where. But then during 19 years old, that time I received a message. You just imagine, you just receive a message from a random person via what? Nowadays is Facebook. At my generation, it's called Friendster. At the moment of time, we
Right.
use Friendster. Yes. Okay. So I received a message. Do you want to have an opportunity to earn passive income? Passive income at the moment of time is something that I don't quite understand also. Okay. So I was thinking, just take a look. Since I have nothing to lose, I don't know what I want in life. So I went down. It's actually a multi-level marketing talk. So during that moment, actually multi-level marketing company, they don't have a very good reputation. I also quite skeptical. I am also quite skeptical about multi-level marketing. It's just that maybe at the point of life, I start to ponder how about I can try to make myself different. Yeah, because that time was in 2005, Singapore economy isn't as good as now. At the moment of time, we heard about recession, people cannot find job, university student, their basic salary start from $1,800 Sing dollar. Unlike now it's like 4,500. Okay, so there are also university students can find job. So I asked myself, so do I really want to study university and suffer the fate of this of what I seen from a lot of university graduate? Okay, so I decided to join multi-level marketing, give it a try because I saw, there are testimonial of people, 22 years old, they can drive big cars like Mercedes-Benz, BMW. Wow, if at the age of 23 years old, I can drive this kind of luxury car, I think, it's not bad. Because as you know, during when I was 3 years old, I stayed in a room with my parents. So I was thinking, maybe I don't want that kind of lifestyle. Yeah, that is how I decided. I still remember when I actually, in Singapore we call it ORD. That means you graduate from your army. So I still remember that day I ORD. So I think 3 months later, I supposed to attend my first day of university. So that day actually I left my house. I start to think, should I go to the university or should I just quit my school? So so when I step out of my car, step out of my house, I actually decided to went for the multi-level marketing company instead of going to university.
Right. With multi-level marketing companies, I have quite a bit of experience. When I was younger, my girlfriend at the time wanted me to try it. I didn't try it, but I saw her essentially being, I guess, recruited into this MLM, and I saw the way they were able to effectively recruit people. Right, like exactly what you said. I think it was a very public-facing enterprise that had people or successful, I guess, multi-level marketers showcasing their wealth. Right, you would see this blatantly on, I guess, at that time, Friendster, and eventually Facebook. You would see these people with cash, even displaying cash, or even some purchases that they bought with their earnings from MLM. And it was, to me, like a fascinating case study of how to get people or how to recruit people with that kind of psychology of creating wealth for yourself, independence with your time, and being, I guess, entrepreneurs quote unquote entrepreneurs that would be in charge of who would be in charge of your own time, destiny, with the effort that you give it and the kind of network that you're able to create. So I personally feel that there are a lot of, I guess, advantages to joining a multi-level marketing company in the sense that it teaches you certain, I don't know, tactics, methods of how to convince people to believe in or buy in to your vision, right? But let me get to you now and ask more specifically, with your experience, what were the good and the bad things that allowed you to grow and eventually become an entrepreneur yourself?
Okay, let's talk about the good side. Okay, okay, because when I came out of national service, I used to be a person with very low self-esteem. To say the truth, one of the reason I joined is also because I see, wow, you imagine the first day I went to the MLM company, it's like, wow, it's a huge stage. Wow. Then I was one of the audience sitting down there. Then I see, wow, people went out the stage, receive their check, uh, they give speeches, and these people are like 2-3 years older than me, 4-5 years older than me, not very, as in they are around my same age or older. Right? So one thing good about multi-level marketing company is that it build your confidence. Okay, especially on the front now. We do talk about it, like especially on the front when you okay, because I don't have any society experience at the moment of time, so I learn two kind of smart. One kind of there's two kind of smart in this world. One is called what we call the book smart. Book smart is something like if you are educated, you know how to make decision based on some education that you learn. So I'm supposedly going to be an university student, so there's definitely book smart in me. One thing I'm lacking is this thing called street smart. Street smart, it means that you are able to communicate with people, you are able to understand how different people work or how different people think. You can talk to different level of people. So this is something that I built along the way. That means I know how to communicate with people. I know how to talk to different level of people from the working class all the way to people of certain success. So these are the things I learned during multi-level marketing company, and also some sales skill because you need to sell. Right? So you need a lot of sales strategy. And another thing is, you learn a little bit about entrepreneurship. I will say a little bit. I won't say the whole part of entrepreneurship, because you must understand that when you work in multi-level marketing company, you are not a salary person. So actually, you are actually working for yourself. So you learn how to earn money for yourself. It's a small part of entrepreneurship, because end of the day, entrepreneurship is not just about sales. It's something that you learn. Okay, but the bad part about multi-level marketing company, I won't say all multi-level marketing company, because it's unfair to judge all multi-level marketing company, because the company that I joined is a local company. It's not MNC company. Okay, so at that moment of time when I see people at 22 years old, 23 years old driving big cars, etc. Actually, I myself, right, I'm fascinated by all these cars. But what we don't know is that these are all in my ex company. These are the surface, because there are people in Singapore buying cars, right? But they don't have enough money for their own expenses. So these are the bad things that I see from multi-level marketing company. As in, people they are there, they are doing things right. They fake it till you make it. This is one of the successful people. This is one of the famous quote that people like to say lah. If you are not a millionaire, you act as if you are a millionaire until you become a millionaire. Because you must have the action, right? Or you must have the mindset, before you can become a millionaire. So people like me, at the moment of time when I'm naive, right, I tend to be blinded by what I see, but not the actual fact that is happening. Okay, so this is a bad part. But also it's also a good thing. Why? Because it also helped me on at the further part of my entrepreneurial journey, where I realized that I cannot just judge a thing by seeing. I also have to understand in depth. I need to do an analysis. Yeah. Then another thing during multi-level marketing company that time is I tend to do things a little bit reckless. That means, when I make decision, I tend to make it very recklessly. Like I don't want to study university because I read books about rich dad poor dad. Why the rich don't encourage I forget what's the name of the book. It's something along this line called successful people don't go to school. Okay, then I heard story like Bill Gates dropped out from university, Michael Dell, the owner of Dell, dropped out of university. So as a youngster, or rather I'm reckless. The company I joined is also a company with a lot of young people. So all of us tend to behave a little bit reckless when we come to decision making. That's also one of the reasons that made me near to bankruptcy where at the age of 22 and 23 years old. But it's also a good thing because at the later part of the stage, right, when I do business, I know this thing called do not just take risks for the sake of taking risks. You must take calculated risks in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So people say that entrepreneurs are natural risk takers, and a lot of people disagree because entrepreneurs actually cap the downside and protect the
Yes.
downside of that risk. And I think with your experience with MLM, I think that was a good way or good practice to be a little bit reckless, I would say. But then again, you really essentially don't own or operate the business, right? You are, I guess, one cog in this whole machinery that allows you to earn. But what personally I find difficult is that by the very nature of MLM, and I'm not saying this for all, but for you to succeed in the greater scheme of things, someone has to not succeed. And given that MLM is not for everyone, not everyone will have the gumption, the network to be able to build, I guess, the network that is needed for you to earn enough to, I guess, afford the cars, the houses. But it's quite difficult to accept that along the way, a lot of maybe possibly the people that you recruit will not make it. And it is the natural end result of you trying to recruit as many people as possible, but the eventuality of them not all being successful, personally for me, is something that I found to be quite difficult to accept when I was introduced into that network. But for all intents and purposes, it is good exercise. It does strengthen your resolve and allows you to be able to practice your salesmanship and convincing powers to be able to talk to so many people from all walks of life. So I think if you're going to be an entrepreneur in the future, maybe that would be a good introduction. It may not be the best, but I feel that with anything that we get ourselves into, I think we try to learn as much as we can. And obviously you did with your experience with MLM. So you quit school, you worked for this MLM company, and what was next for you when you found that maybe it was not the path for you at that time?
Okay. So one thing about me is I used to be very, very, very stubborn. Right? How stubborn am I? So somehow or rather at the age of 22 years old, actually I was somehow or rather I owe debts. I was somehow or rather near to bankruptcy. Why do I say near to bankruptcy? Because I received letter every single day. Actually, I got myself in debts. At the age of 22 years old, I did something quite naive and stupid. Why I say naive and stupid? I actually took out money from my credit card. At that moment of time, it's quite a huge sum. It's like some five-figure amount. I also cannot recall how much is the amount because when I take out the amount, I just say, okay, let's just take out from credit card. It's okay. Okay, I'm still young. So I actually took out money from the credit card and I actually started a F&B business, a small F&B business. So I don't have experience. Actually, I partner with somebody who is like 44 years old older than me. That time I was 22 years old. I partner with somebody 66 years old who know how to cook. Yeah. So we went into a F&B venture at that moment of time. But in less than 6 months, the F&B closed down. Right. So I lose the money. The money wasn't mine. It belonged to the bank. So as you know, bank interest rate is quite crazy. Okay. Then after which, how stubborn am I still want to persist on my journey, even though I'm in debt. I told myself, let's go back to multi-level marketing company again. Even though at the moment of time, I know that there are certain people they just paint a certain picture, nice picture, but they are actually struggling with their life driving BMW. I told myself that maybe I can be different from them now. Let's go back to multi-level marketing company. So I think that time was around 23 years old. I still remember it was 2008 already. Lehman Brothers. That was the Lehman Brothers period. So I went back to multi-level marketing company. I continued to struggle for 2 more years until I realized that I can't. Why I say I can't? Because that moment of time, actually I own a car. I actually go and bought a car, a Japanese car, a Suzuki Swift at that moment of time. So I cannot pay my car. I think that time my debt is around 70,000 Singapore dollar. At this moment of time, if you ask me $70,000, can I repay? Can. At the moment of time, can't, because I don't have a fixed salary, and to a certain extent, certain month I have $0 paycheck. Yeah, so I have no choice. I have to find a full-time job. So what I did is that I actually went for quite a number of interviews. I went for 20 over interview. Okay, because as a non-university student, I consider as somebody with low education. Then the thing is, I have a car. I need to pay installment. So I need to find a job. So what kind of job can I go into? Actually, I went interview for a lot of jobs, to say the truth. I went to interview as a police officer. I tried to interview. I failed. I tried to interview to become a teacher. I failed. Okay, I think that after I decided to go to find a different kind of sales job, I think I went to 20 over job interview. Finally, there's one company that accepted me. Actually, I don't care about what company accept me, because at that moment of time, I just tell myself, any company that can pay me $2,500 a month, I will just take the job. Okay, so there's this company who took me in and let me become a salesperson. Let me become a salesperson in the company, and that company is a publishing firm. It's a publishing firm, as in they publish magazine. They publish 4 different kind of magazine. One is called Teenage Magazine, which is a youngster magazine. One is a design architecture magazine, which is more towards the architecture side. One is a interior magazine. The other one is a parental magazine. So I went to this company itself to become a salesperson. So I was selling for three titles: the youngster one, the interior one, and also the design architecture one. So within the span of 1 year, I managed to repay all my debts. So another thing is, I joined this publishing firm for 3 years. I was actually promoted 4 times. Okay, all the way to a senior business manager. Yeah, so consecutively, for minus of the first 2 months, the rest of my journey, I was hitting my sales target every single month. So I see my salary growing and growing and growing. But then I think that was when I was at the age of 29 years old. Wow, time flies, right? I think at the age of 29 years old, I start to realize something bad happening in Singapore. People are not reading magazine. Imagine I'm selling advertisement space for magazine. Then I realized that people are not reading magazine. Then I start to see, wow, bookshop one by one closing down in Singapore. I don't know, does that happen in Philippines? But it happened in Singapore. People are not reading books. People are not really reading magazine. They are starting to, there is a transition to digital. People are looking for things on Google, etc. At that time, Facebook isn't that prominent, but we start to see all these changes. People are not buying magazines. Then I start to ponder about my life. Why my life so sad? I'm quite negative. Why my life so sad? The first half of my 20 plus years old, I went into such a shit. So I managed to climb outside of all this shithole at the age during my mid to late 20s. But then, when I was 29 years old, I start to see, my company is actually a sunset industry. It's actually going down. Okay, so that moment of time, I told myself I have 2 choices. I really have 2 choices only. One is I find another sales job. I cannot stay in this company. If not, I will die with the company. Not say I will die lah. It's just a terminology lah. I will just sink with the ship. Okay. If not, the first choice is I find another sales job. I start all over again. I get another sales job. They might not pay me as well as my current company, and I will not have the commission. I have to fight all over again my commission. Okay. The second is maybe I try out a business. But I try not to go into the business because I have some bad experience in the past. Then when you have bad experience in the past, when you are young, when you share with people your business experience, people will tell you that, hey, James, you are actually not cut out for business, including my parents. You are not cut out for business, so you better find a stable job. If not, you get yourself into another trouble. You will create burden for your family. Everyone around you will be stressful because of you. Okay, but somehow or rather, maybe it's my stubborn nature that resulted me in starting out another business. Okay, so when I want to start a business, I also tell myself I don't want to do anything related to my full-time job, which is somehow or rather advertising industry lah, because they basically I sell advertisement space for magazine. So actually, I didn't went to start Renopedia immediately. I went to start something different called a maid agency, foreign domestic worker.
Oh, a maid agency. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I started a maid agency instead. Okay, so in Singapore, basically, if you apply, you start out a maid agency, you have to apply for a license. So when you apply for a license, this license can do two things. One thing you can do is you can use this license to set up a foreign domestic agency. Second is you can become a foreign employment agency where you can recruit foreigner to come to Singapore to work. So actually, I went into this business instead. But somehow or other, I did something naive and stupid because I want to start a business without paying for the license first. So what I did is I actually operated the business not legally. Okay, I tried to do some recruitment of worker into Singapore without using license, and it was wrong. And how wrong it is, that means it's illegal lah. So I was actually being found out by Singapore authority, which MOM. So they invited me to their office. They temporarily disallow me to apply for any license.
At least it was just disallowing you from operating, and not. I mean, you didn't go to jail or anything like that.
So at that moment of time, I asked myself, what can I do? So I think about it. So no choice lah. I think I back to advertising industry lah. So I think about in my previous company, I was selling advertisement space for for interior design magazine. So I was thinking, how about I bring it digital? That's how Renopedia came out. So a lot of people ask me how you started Renopedia. I tell them, actually a lot of circumstances. I also don't know how to tell you. It's not as if that I have a big. When I first started out, it's not as if I have a big vision. I want to create the #1 digital online renovation media in Singapore. No, because it's just that I'm at the cross junction of my life, and everything just don't seem to work out. So I want to try it. Because that time is more about my survival. If I don't find something to do, I don't have the income to go on in life. That's how Renopedia started.
Methods to Greatness is powered by Converge. Experience better. Converge has been an instrumental partner for myself, for our organization, because everything we do right now is digital. Everything involves liaising, coordinating with people, with other companies, and all of this is done online. And our medium, being video, is very, very highly data-driven. We need a stable, reliable internet connection to make everything we do work. What Converge has given us was a way to be able to successfully carry out all of the tasks of the team, reach out to our audience, to our market, and also allowed us to be able to create more things with what we do. My team has been a direct beneficiary of this. I think this pandemic has given us a lot of opportunities to pivot, and this is our latest pivot into the future, which really is a digital world. For Methods to Greatness, I'm interviewing world-class performers, icons, CEOs from Asia, from around the world. All of those interviews are done online. They're all done via a video call. It was very critical that we had a reliable internet connection that would enable me to carry on these conversations with these icons from all around the world. That is one of the reasons why we're able to do what we do now. So if you'd like to work with Converge, check them out at gofiber.ph or connect with them through their social media channels. This episode is also brought to you by Perfect Health Philippines. Did you know that massages are considered one of the best ways to recover from exercise and is considered an indispensable part of any fitness training and recovery regimen? Getting a regular massage not only detoxifies your muscles from lactic acid buildup, but also increases muscle performance, blood flow, reduces pain, and induces better sleep. If you don't have access to a masseuse, the next best thing is a massage chair or a massage gun. Perfect Health has a complete lineup of massage chairs with a whole range of features and price points. Their top-of-the-line model, Perfection 2, has all the bells and whistles, from 3D full body and foot massage functions, voice command, Bluetooth, and zero gravity. Their Perfect Relaxer massage gun is a personal favorite of mine, which I use on my quads every time I come from a long bike ride. Methods to Greatness, in partnership with Perfect Health Philippines, has come up with a special discount promo that is exclusive to our followers and subscribers. To avail of the special promo discount, get in touch with Perfect Health's professional healthcare consultants at perfecthealthphcustomerservice@gmail.com or via hotline 02-8831-6944 and give the promo code MTG. That's the Methods to Greatness promo code MTG, and the healthcare consultants will hook you up with the best premium massage chairs, massage guns, and other healthcare products, all with a special discount. You know, James, if you trace back your roots from the time when you were struggling with your parents, staying in a single bed with your parents, you know, growing up in that environment, later on, quitting school, getting into MLM, obviously polishing your chops, your salesmanship there, eventually getting into the publishing world where you were employed, utilizing the skills that you learned from MLM, and now as an entrepreneur with your own company, they all seem to tie together. And you saying that probably circumstances just added up to, I guess, an amalgamation of all of these things that help you realize that, hey, maybe this is something that I can get in. And if you really trace your past, you would see how they're all somehow interconnected and led you to this very specific niche of being in the middle of all of these renovation services in Singapore. And now you are the CEO of this fast-growing startup. So take us through the thought process of you now deciding, okay, I'm going to be building this platform that will aggregate all of these renovation services, and this is going to be my business for the long haul.
Okay, when I talk about Renopedia, right? Okay, let's share a little bit about my platform itself. It's actually a combination of renovation and advertising. Why? Because it's a platform that like what you mentioned, it links homeowners and interior design firm together. Okay, so previously when I was in the publishing firm, I know a lot of interior designer. So I understand what kind of needs do they have. Okay, when it comes to Singapore interior design firm, we realize that a lot of time they need advertising. Why? Because they need advertising to actually get in the customer. So they are actually advertising savvy industry because they need a lot of advertising. If not, it's very hard for them to depend on things such as walk-in, referrals. Yes. So the whole thought process of how I actually came up with Renopedia is that we realized there is a need for digital space for this interior design firm. It's not as if we are the first one, but we know that there isn't enough in the market. There are, at the moment that there are 3 players. I think there are around 3 prominent players. We don't talk about small player because, as you know, in the digital space, anyone can just set up a business easily. We talk about prominent player. At the moment, there are 3 prominent players. So we realize that there is a need for more of this platform, a proper platform, because at the moment of time when it comes to digital, it's a little bit messy. I say it's a little bit messy because somehow or rather Singapore at the moment of time in where I started Renopedia is around 2013. In 2013, it's a little bit messy as in people know they have to go on digital. But yet somehow or rather, a lot of companies don't dare to step out of their comfort zone. As in, I'm still very used to traditional advertising such as television, magazine, or whether can you, in 2013, there's also this funny, now you will find it funny if people talk like this. But at the moment in time, there is, people start to ask, does Facebook really work? Does advertising my product on Facebook really work? This is what is happening in 2013. Nowadays, if you talk in this way, people will look at you, it's definitely has some impact because everyone on Facebook. Okay? But at the moment of time, no, people is like, Facebook effective or not, whether digital effective or not. So we realize there's this space that we have to fill in. There's a potential for Renopedia to grow. If I track back, another thing is that there's also I can say that when I started Renopedia, it's more about survival. But yet, if I really look deep inside myself, right, somehow or rather, I myself, I have a desire to win, to say the truth. All the while, I have a desire to win on my own. That means because of my I came to Singapore. My family wasn't very rich, was considered poor. So when I was small, I started to see, how come my classmate, they can buy certain things that I don't. I want to be more different. Okay. Then a lot of things link together, like what you say. So I think John, you went through quite a lot to be able to say that. Okay, because somehow or rather, right, at the moment of time, I just feel that life just pushed me into doing Renopedia. But as time grow, I start to look back. My whole life is that it's just linked. Okay, when I joined a multi-level marketing company, at that moment of time, it's like, my multi-level marketing company, they have a product. They sell a magnetic mattress, a mattress that is around 2K. Okay, so one of the thing that during multi-level marketing company that time is that I start to see, it also start to help me develop a business mindset, as in why this company cannot grow, because they are selling a product that is not repetitive. What do you mean by repetitive? Right? That means you buy a mattress, you won't buy it every single month. Why I like the advertising industry is that it serves people needs, because some companies, they want advertising, and it's also something that people are willing to pay you every single month. It's not just like, hey, I'm done with a one-time advertisement. No. Yeah, so all these things plus together, right? At the moment of time, is something that I cannot explain. But because right now I'm been in Renopedia for 8 years, right? I trace back a lot of things. Then I realized that some things may seem to be coincident, but like John, what you mentioned is that everything in life, it just happened for a reason. It's just that the reason, all this reason, right, you start to find it at the later of your life.
Right. Amazing how everything seemed to come together, like, pieces of a puzzle, and then all culminating in what you have now. So take us through how you developed Renopedia. What was, I guess, what were the components that led to you putting everything together? I'm sure as a platform, you had to slowly build. Would you mind explaining to us, like, the I guess the method by which you built your startup? I mean, a tech startup is something that a lot of young people are aspiring to do and to put up. Perhaps you can share with us what your process was from, I guess, the initial idea, building and trying to get traction for your startup, and eventually this having the success that you enjoy now.
Okay, first thing first, I want to share, when I started a digital platform, there was definitely a lot of challenge. One of the bigger challenges is, as you all can track now, as you all can know that just now my sharing is that I don't have any other experience besides sales. Okay, that means I'm from MLM all the way to my sales job. Actually, the only thing I'm good at is sales. Other than sales, there's nothing much about me that you see. When it comes to digital platform, we talk about a lot of things like building a platform, website. You need to you need to do a marketing. You have to come up with a marketing campaign. You need content. You need a lot of things. And all these things is something that I lack of. Okay, I don't know how to create content. I don't know how to sell a website. I also don't know how to do any single marketing. Okay, but like what I mentioned is that sometimes no choice is the best choice lah. And also you must understand that I don't have venture capitalists. My company, we don't have an investor coming into my company at the moment of time and tell me that, oh, James, I find that your business idea is very potential. I'm going to pump you 1 million, 2 million. No. So everything had to be from my side. Okay. So the whole thought process is, okay, firstly, I don't know, this is one thing that I have learned also. Okay, when you a lot of time, right, when we go into business ideas, right, we try to do business that a lot of people have this mindset. I want to do a business that nobody for. I want to be the first one in this world to do this business. Okay, okay. So when they do this kind of business, right, the first question they never thought of is whether there is a demand for your business or not. Okay. The second question they never ask themselves is that, hey, what problem are you trying to solve? Or what desire are you trying to create? You know, in this world, all product, all services exist for two purposes. Either you solve a problem or you solve a desire. Okay. So for me, right, when I started out Renopedia, right, it was difficult because I know nothing about anything besides sales. Okay. So when I want to start out a platform itself, right, a lot of things I need to learn it myself. But is it hard to learn? Definitely not hard to learn, because we are already in this age whereby, right, today I don't know anything. First thing I ask Google. Second platform I ask YouTube. Okay. So basically, if I want to find a third, fourth platform, you can ask Facebook, you can ask this, ask that, because now we live in the information world. If today you want to learn coding from scratch, we don't talk about the very sophisticated coding. We talk about simple, such as if today I want to create a website, I want to start from scratch, I want to use Shopify, I want to use WordPress, be it is WordPress, Joomla, or even Drupal, right? Hey, you can actually learn it from Google, YouTube. So I actually learned it from scratch. Yeah, I actually learned it from scratch. So first thing first, entrepreneur, you have to be resourceful. Resourceful doesn't mean that you have all the resource on hand, but you need to know how to find resource. I learned how to create a website from scratch. Second thing, I learned how to do things from scratch is, okay, we don't talk about my marketing side, we talk about content. I don't have enough money to hire a content writer, so I have to write my own content. Language is something I struggle with. Writing English. But after I realized that it's not that hard after all. Sometimes a lot of people, they just tell themselves, wow, I'm poor in this. Never mind, start from scratch. Yeah, you learn the ropes. It's just that you don't have a good starting point, but doesn't mean that you can't learn. Like, there's so many things for us to reference. Like, for example, if I live in Singapore, right, I can reference Singapore articles, but not just Singapore articles. How about the US? How about from Philippines? All the different country you can actually reference their article writing, even Korean, Taiwan. Yes, a lot of things you can do referencing art. There's this thing very important. Okay, in school, right, we are learn like don't copy things. Your teacher will just scold you if you copy things. But in business, can anyone tell me that any business in Singapore don't copy any single thing from their competitor or even similar industry? Sometimes we can copy and make it better one. How I set out the infrastructure of my website, to say the truth, I copy. Starting I copy as in not everything word by word copy. I copy their ideas. Copy is a word that is easy to understand, but nowadays people don't use the word copy lah. They use a better word. It's called model after. Okay, so I model after. Yes,
I like that term,
because copy is not a very nice word, so they like to use this word called I model after.
Or maybe inspired by.
Inspired by. So you must understand there's this artist called Picasso. He ever made this phrase. Wow, it's a very nice phrase. He say, good artist copy, great artist steal.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So you can model after certain people to get your infrastructure right first. Then after that, you make it better. That's how I start my website. Okay, so the next thing, how do I do my marketing? So at the moment of time, when it comes to digital, so we must recognize what kind of platform people are at. Okay, so that time I start to realize that, okay, most of the in 2013, now it's a decidedly different, but in 2013 itself, when we talk about digital, we talk about getting traffic. We want to do marketing, we need to get traffic. So how do we get traffic? Where are people at? Okay, so when you talk about digital marketing, at that moment of time, we only talk about two things. One is Google, one is Facebook. It's either you have to master one of Facebook marketing or you have to master Google marketing. Okay, nowadays there's slightly more, but to say the truth, even there's slightly more, right, we still talk about Facebook marketing, we still talk about Google marketing. Okay, so that time I start to identify my competitor, because there are three prominent competitors at the moment of time. So I try to see what are they good at. Then I realized that all of them are good at Google, but they are not really good at Facebook. What do I say? They are not really good at Facebook. Do they have presence on Facebook? Yes. But their main focus are really on Google, just getting their keywords. That means you search certain keywords, their platform will appear on Google searches, whether organically or paid. Okay, so I start to look at the Facebook side, because when we talk about Facebook, we talk about different things. We talk about the kind of content, whether to give value, free content. Yeah. So I started to realize that they didn't really focus much on Facebook. So I jumped onto the Facebook. I tested with Facebook marketing. And surprisingly, it really worked. Because during 2013 itself, right, a lot of people are not really on the Facebook yet. So one thing we also realize that sometimes we have to move a little bit faster. Do not just stick to comfort zone, because today's world, right, nothing is constant. The only thing that's constant in today's world is called change. Change is constant. Everyday things are changing. It's just like nowadays, right? If we are looking into marketing, we don't just look at Google, we don't just look at Facebook. Yeah, even though I say that Instagram is part of Facebook, yeah, also look into Instagram. We right now we are also looking into TikTok. We are looking into Telegram. Anything that you must understand that when it comes to marketing, right? And as long as your consumer are at certain places, that place, right, is some place you can consider marketing towards. Don't always, a lot of times I speak to entrepreneurs, I start to scratch it, is that they are always trying they are always telling me, I won't say it's wrong lah, but if you think in the wrong way, it's definitely wrong one. I want to do something new. Oh, this thing that person done before, I don't do because I don't want to be same. I want to be different. It's okay to be different, but then we also have to think. We cannot just do things just because of the sake of doing it. I want to do it different. We must also understand that if there are certain things, certain platform is proven, a lot of people are there, please be there. Right.
Right. In your case, James, what existing platform did you model yours after?
I reference not just existing platform. I also reference first I reference my competitor. This is very straightforward. Direct competitor. What I will ask myself, what have they done that I think is right? I won't say confirm right. What I think is right. Okay. So I will just model after the ideas that I think they are right. Okay. Second thing, second kind of people that I model after are people that similar yet not similar. Like for example, I'm an online renovation platform. So I look at the traditional platform. What are the traditional platform? Who am I replacing? Like for example, I see myself as an online platform that is going to replace first traditional media. We look at magazine. We bring whatever content is inside magazine online. Okay. The next one I think about it is online event, offline event. Like for example, offline renovation renovation fair. There's something that as an online renovation platform, I can replace them in certain aspect. So that I also model after them. Third one, I model after out of my industry. Okay, I start to see because I'm a digital platform, so I need to do marketing. So certain marketing ideas, certain marketing angle, my industry, right, doesn't have. Okay, or people haven't even started yet. So I reference after other popular platform. It may be related to food, it may be related to other things. I don't model after their content, but I model after their marketing strategy. Like what kind of marketing strategy? I think a few years back, we are the first company that actually created, as in not the first company, the first renovation platform or renovation related industry that started to create funny videos, because we realized that funny videos are videos that people tend to like at the moment of time, because people love to go to social media and see funny video, whether it's funny or not, but they just find it interesting. So we ask ourselves, why renovation related companies don't do this kind of video? Because this kind of video, you tend to make people laugh. So you tend to show people that you are not just a serious platform that I'm here to follow, to look at information. It can also be entertaining at the same time. So I model after three different kind of people. One is our direct competitor, the other indirect competitor, third one is other industry for marketing ideas.
Right. Very, very comprehensive way of looking at how to, I guess, find the innovation in bringing all of these thoughts, these ideas together. One thing, though, that is quite subjective in terms of how successful it can become is being funny. I mean, being funny is tricky. It's either you are or you're not. What was in your case can you give it as an example of like a funny ad or campaign that you did that really got attention or maybe even went viral?
Okay, so we are a renovation platform. Okay, we are a renovation platform, so we do showcase just interior design firms. We also showcase interior design products. Okay, so the first, okay, when you have an idea, you don't know whether it work or not. Okay, so actually our first video it worked out lah. Because like what you mentioned, funny is subjective. What I think funny, audience do not feel is funny. Even the audience feel funny, it doesn't mean that it will go viral.
Right.
Okay, so the first video we did is just a showcase of our company people in a funny way. It don't work out. Okay, so we started to try we went to try a second viral video. It also don't work out. I forget what's the second viral video, but I know the third one worked out. Okay, the third one is what idea? That time we were trying to do something related to bathroom products. So there's just like this bathroom company have been in Singapore for around 10 years. So instead of just telling people that sometimes it can be very boring if you tell people, oh, this company is here for 10 years, so trust us because we have the quality. People don't like this kind of video. So we changed the angle of there's two person, since young they met each other. So the first time they met is at a bathroom product place. Okay, so what happened? It flashback to 10 years later. So 10 years later, they see each other again. Then the man actually went out to the woman, and tell her, I miss you a lot. So after he say miss you a lot, the next moment he pushed the girl away and he's actually talking to bathroom products. Okay, so she actually talking to the bathroom product. It have been there for 10 years.
Got it.
So the video script somehow or other, this one actually went viral. It's not just because of the script. It's also because of the music that bring people throughout the whole 10 years journey. But it's a 3-minute video. Yeah, so we realized that sometimes certain ideas can be portrayed in a different way. That means sometimes certain things, it can be so like, okay, this company have been 20 years, just trust us. We can put it in a story manner to actually portray the 10-20 years, how good it is.
Now, James, what was the turning point or what happened in your company that actually made you realize that, hey, this is actually working? We're generating decent revenue and we're on our way. I think right now, for a startup, I think in terms of revenue, from what I know, I think you've generated 3 million Singapore dollars last year in revenue, which is a lot considering that a lot of startups out there don't even earn, right, with multi-million-dollar valuations. What was the turning point for you, or what made you realize that, hey, we're actually onto something here?
Okay, I don't know. I say, is it a motivation or not? But what happened is when I started out Renopedia, if you ask me, do I have confidence or not? Not really. Okay, but because I lack of so much things, so that time I work day and night. Actually, a lot of things I have to do it myself, so I work day and night. I done Facebook. I start to do Facebook marketing. Actually, in the middle, I also try to engage other people, but other people, because I don't have a very good budget, I don't have quite a huge sum in my company bank, so I have to engage other people. So other people, I met into some scam scenario whereby people took my money and do nothing. So it's back to myself again. Okay, the first turning point, let's talk about I think it was like that time when I started out my business, it was like the end of December 2002. It was like 2013, end of December. Then it's like 3 months later. I think it's 3 months later after I built out. I didn't approach any customer because I feel that my platform is not ready. Okay, so I test all the different kind of marketing method. And finally, I remember there was this moment. The first client actually called in. That means you realize that your business, right? There's people calling in, right? You start to feel, there's something going on with my marketing that is not bad. The first person that called me, he said he want to advertise, want to understand the advertising rate. And just happened that person is also someone I knew in my publishing firm, just that he don't know me. He don't know I'm the founder of Renopedia because that time I also didn't tell anybody I'm the founder of Renopedia. So he met me, he actually signed a contract with me. So that moment of time, that's the first time I think that this business start to work out because there's inquiry coming in, right? But I cannot confirm. But I'm also very stressful. Why I'm very stressful? Because if you start a business, right, you don't have your first customer, right, you are not stressful. When you have your first customer come in, you start to have this commitment. Oh shit, I have somebody I have to answer to. Okay, so I need to find my first few customer. So I need to not just wait for inquiry, I need to go outside to search for customer. Then, when this first customer came in already, right, I start to go and find other customer. Then, I receive my second inquiry. Also from somebody in the past, also somehow or other from somebody in the past that I know. He also signed a contract with me. So when your first sales, second sales, third sales start to come in, it start to work well already. It's not as in because last time when I do sales, it's like the product is created by somebody, I sell the product. So I don't have this kind of feeling. But starting out a business from scratch is like, you create a product, you go and sell your product, and you see people are willing to buy your idea. It's like, it's starting to work out. So when I get my first 10 customer, then after it became the first 20 customer, then I realized, this business can. Okay. So back to the question.
James, I'd like to find out from you. So you said that, okay, essentially you're a sales guy, right? You know how to sell. That's your core, I would say, skill or talent that you use to be able to put up this company. Obviously, there are a lot more components that go into building, scaling a company.
Yes.
But with sales being your, I guess, your forte, as they say, sales cures all, right? So in your case, you were doing everything at the beginning. I'd like to find out, it's a startup, it's a tech company. How important was the tech component to you building out your product? How would you say, is that an integral part, getting the right tech right from the get-go? Or is it more just trying to find your product market fit, getting to your first customers, and then eventually evolving your platform along the way?
Okay, let's talk about platform. Because doing a business and doing sales a little bit different, you need to get your product out first. So product is definitely at the initial stage, the product is actually more important than the sales itself. No matter how good how good you are in sales lah. I don't know what's the definition of good in sales. To me, the definition of good in sales is not just about talking. It's about deliverability. It's not how good you are doing sales. It's how good you are not just doing sales, but maintaining the relationship and let people be confident in your product. So at the initial start out, the product is important. So go back to the tech part. Okay. So for tech startup, we need to understand the first thing is okay, the complexity of tech, right, depend on what problem you are trying to solve. Firstly, what kind of problem you need to solve. So definitely, if you are solving a very big problem that involves the usage of tech is definitely important. Based on what I have went through, and I also read out on some business owner like Jack Ma, I believe, right, everybody will tell you the same thing. Even tech, how important is tech, right? Like for example, Jack Ma, he himself is not IT person. I myself, I'm not an IT person. Yes, you can find people to build out your IT. But then, end of the day, the most important part is, like Jack Ma mentioned before, I don't know IT, but I know how to see IT from the eye of the consumer. That is the most important. Because people are not amazed by how good your tech is. People are more amazed how your tech is going to help them solve their problem. So tech is important, definitely, but then consumer perspective on how the whole things go through is more important. It's just like Apple itself. One thing I'm very fascinated by Apple is that they make things so simple. Like, I think everybody's seen this before. You see a 3 years old, 4 years old, they cannot do a lot of things, but yet they know how to use an iPhone. But behind the simplicity of the Apple phone, behind there's a tech. So definitely tech is important. But before we even talk about the tech, right, we talk about the consumer side. How are consumers going to maneuver all these things, what consumer want? Yes, at the start, it also took us quite a bit of time to understand what consumer like. because we tend at first is we model after people, but we model after people is what we think that consumer may like. But during that period of time, we change quite a number of things to actually more and more fit the consumer, to more and more understand what consumer are actually thinking. So end of the day, like what you mentioned, tech component is important. Yes, it's important. But more important is how can you see consumer point of view? That is more important than the tech itself.
Right. In your case, James, you are, I would assume, a two-sided marketplace. You have your audience or your consumers who look to the website to be able to find the designers. On the other hand, you have your designers who advertise with you. How are you able to manage and balance, I guess, servicing both sides so that you are the one in the middle, essentially making sure that the experience is as seamless and would benefit both sides as much as possible?
Okay, let's talk about business model in this world. There's two kinds of business model. One is called B2B, business to business. The other one is called business to consumer. Okay, so if you look at our business model, we are a hybrid of both. Why that? Because we are B2B because we deal with interior design firm. Interior design firm, they pay us advertising dollars. So we are a B2B in the business model. On a revenue model, we are a B2B. Okay, but on the other hand, because we are somehow rather a marketplace, online media. So our success actually, if you ask me now, we are more dependent on the homeowners, which are the end consumer. So to be more specific on our model, we are actually a B2B2C. So we talk about managing, sometimes I don't, sometimes when we talk about multitasking, managing two sides, it's more about prioritizing. If you ask me, end of the day, we have to identify who is the more important. To me, end of the day, be it what platform you are, right? The end consumer is definitely most important one. Even to B2B business, I also say the same thing. Yes, you are a B2B, but you must also understand that your B may be selling to C there. So end of the day, even though this C don't give you money, but if you can see the bigger picture of how you can influence C or you can provide more value to the C, end of the day, that is the end goal. Okay, it's just like I know B2B product. There are a lot of digital product out there doing a B2B sales. They sell to B, but end of the day, they do marketing, right, to promote their product to the end consumer. And it do help them because end of the day, end consumer are the one that going to help you spread the word of mouth. End consumer are the one that will influence their friend, tell their friend, wow, this platform is the platform that you should go into. So when it comes to juggling between the problem between B2C, definitely our priority is definitely towards the C, right? If you ask me, but that doesn't mean that we have to neglect our BR, which is the interior designer. No, but we must understand there's a hierarchy. Right? In our company, I always tell my employee in the company is that whatever things that are always three angle. What three angle? One is our advertiser angle, which is our interior design firm, interior design products, people advertise our platform. One is the homeowner or consumer point of view. Okay. Third one is our own company point of view. Our branding. We need to juggle what kind of branding, what direction our company has. But end of the day, these three we have to keep a balance, definitely. Okay. But
Right.
if you ask me, if there's a hierarchy chart, right, who comes first? If you ask me, end consumer, because end of the day, they are the most important. Definitely, we will try to place our advertiser at the second place before our one. But yet at the same time, we know that a lot of times, a lot of things is about balance. In life, right? If there's something that we have to consistent learning, right, it's about balance. Because there won't be a perfect scenario. Right? There will only be a scenario that you are able to do balance out. Yes, over the past few years, we handle quite a number of conflict here and there, but we still able to balance out because end of the day, we know where is our hierarchy chart, but yet at the same time, we also know how to keep a balance point because end of the day, it's a win-win-win. If we can always achieve a win-win-win situation, it will be the best.
Right. You said at the start that it's very important for your product to be good, right? There's a saying that, you want to do something, you figure it out, you're going to say yes and figure it out along the way. In your case, you're saying that it should be good from the start, otherwise you'll lose your customer. How good did it have to be? And also, did you have to build from scratch? Did you employ a full-time team to begin with? What was the start like for you trying to come up with this product that, for all intents and purposes, you were still trying to figure out and trying to find product market fit?
Okay, that's a very good question. How good should your product be? Let's start with the how good should your product be. Okay, okay. So let's talk about the balance. Your product have to be good, but your product do not have to be perfect. Okay, so when we talk about good, right, we talk about whether your all product in this world, right, serve two purpose only. What two purpose? One is you solve problem. Second, you fulfill desire. If your product you already proven to solve problem, right? Yes, you can progress because end of the day, right? Progression is better than perfection. If your product do not solve a problem, right? You better think of the problem. If not, right, your product should fall under the second category called fulfill desire. That means their product in this world, right? They don't solve problem one. They just let people feel happy. For example, a lot of entertainment product is more about making you feel happy, make your life feel more satisfied. Okay, so you have to think between these two directions. If it fulfill desire, if it solve problem, yes, you can progress along the way. So what do I mean by my product is good enough? Because we know that, for example, if their homeowner inquiry and we can actually send to interior design firm, to me is considered good enough. We don't talk about whether it's good enough to actually progress really. Okay. If today I want to sell a food to somebody, but yet I cannot produce a food, that's a big problem. If you can produce a food first, then after that you perfect along the way. That's my thinking. Your product need to be good, but your product need not be perfect.
Right.
So I think
in the case of trying to determine, James, what you needed from the beginning, was a website enough for you? And perhaps you could explain to us how different how you started was from what it is today.
That's a very long process. Okay, that's a very long process. Okay, let's talk about my website. Okay, so at that moment of time, I just I need because at the moment of time I have one thing I need to consider, which is called budget. At the moment of time I need to consider this thing called budget. So when I started our website, right, I started out using a WordPress which I learned from scratch at the moment of time. So it wasn't very fascinating. But it have the content that people needed. Okay, so at the moment of time, my main focusing is on marketing rather than the website. Okay, it's just like a business model that I understand is that, okay, sometimes you do not just, you can focus on one aspect of your business, right, and make your business good. That time my main focusing is on social media and the marketing. Okay, it's just like example of Domino Pizza. Okay, how Domino Pizza make it big is not about making how good their pizza is, how nice their pizza is. They are trying to fill this gap called, how about this? I focus on delivery. If I cannot deliver to you within 45 minutes, I will replace with you one more. So that's how Domino Pizza make it big. Same goes with our business model. We know that what we are lacking behind our competitor maybe should be the tech aspect, the Google marketing aspect, but we identify our social media aspect as something that is untouched. We make ourselves stronger in that aspect. It's not as if people did not touch that aspect. People touch, but we think that we can perform better at that aspect. So we focus on that aspect and make our brand strong in that aspect. When people ask this question, how are you different from your competitor? We are very strong. We are stronger in social media as compared to our competitor. We show them the stats. You see the amount of engagement we garner. So end of the day, right, it's not about when you talk about branding, what kind of branding you want? You want people just to see your ad, just to see your picture somewhere and that's it? No, we talk about engagement, and social media is all about engagement because at that time we place our main emphasis on social media. Okay, but as time goes by, how we fine tune? I will say that my business model somehow or rather, this kind of business model is somehow or rather traditional in the extent whereby I earn money and I along the way until it is today.
So from the beginning of the platform, you were trying to benchmark against your competitors. Now, where are you vis-a-vis your competitors in the market?
Okay, currently after 8 years, right? to say the truth, the the three competitor that I mentioned when I first started, they isn't I think okay, one of them is not around, the other two not very prominent. Okay, but there are also new player in the market. So right now we are one of the three prominent player in Singapore. Okay,
Okay, but you're
so
not the top player yet.
we are not the top. Nobody is the top.
Nobody's
Okay.
on top.
Yes. Why do I say nobody is the top? There's no one in Singapore that actually claimed the top yet. Okay.
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 So you pretty much are sharing the pie right now.
Pie right now, okay. Pie right now, actually, when we say we are one of the top, we are one of the three prominent, right? Okay, we talk about the angle of home. Okay, there's two angles we have to consider. One is the interior design firm, and the other one is the homeowner. When we talk about interior design firm, we are definitely one of the two platforms that they will go into. Okay, when it go to homeowner itself, right? When it go to homeowner itself, right? In their mindset is like in their mindset, it will be all about these two platforms. It will be it's either this or this. That is why that we can say that we and another competitor is more on the side to side. If you talk about market share, right, I can also tell you it's pretty similar. What do you mean by it's pretty similar? If you calculate the number of interior design firm to interior number of interior design firm, you talk about interior design product to number of interior design product, I can say the pie is actually quite similar.
Right. So James, I know that you are looking at expanding Renopedia across Southeast Asia. So talk to me about those plans.
It took us quite some time to actually plan to expand overseas, because we realized that renovation market in different country is somehow rather different. There are countries where the demand is more than the supply. There are also countries where the supply is more than the demand. So definitely we are the first few countries that we are looking into is more onto the Southeast Asia, because we realize that the Western side, their renovation culture is somehow rather not similar to Asian. Okay, because the Western side they focus a lot more on their own DIY. This is more on the Western side. But when it comes to Asia, like for example Singapore, the only DIY that people do is at IKEA. Most of the time they will just look for interior design firm. Okay, so talk about expansion plan, right? The first country we are looking into, okay, so we actually set our target on the whole of Southeast Asia, and actually we already started a company in Malaysia. Okay, so we actually wanted to went full-fledged in Malaysia in 2018. Okay, no, we wanted to went in Malaysia full-fledged, not 2018, it's in 2020. Okay, but something happened that we have to hold the plan. What happened there?
And that thing is obviously the pandemic.
Yes. Okay. So we are actually patiently waiting for the border to open up before we actually do the real expansion.
What are your, I guess, initial thoughts when it comes to expanding to another country? Obviously, there are a lot of differences culturally, market-wise, but what would be the first, I guess, consideration that you would make if you were to expand your startup to another country?
Okay, if we are talking about starting out to any other country, the first thing definitely like what you mentioned is we have to understand the cultural first. But okay, because we don't just start out in a country just because we want to start out. It's so easy to register company these days. In any other country, we can just register and say, hey, we are already in Malaysia, this country, that country. But we have to consider the fact is that we are not just expanding our business there, we are also expanding our whole company culture to that country. Yeah. So definitely, right, when it comes to starting business, right, it's not just about the product itself, it's also about how am I going to build a team over there. So what is the minimum salary of these people over there, and what is the salary package that I have to work out? Is it the same as Singapore? And another thing we have to work out is also the buying power of people over there. Buying power as in the consumer, how much are, like for example, we start with the consumer, how much are they willing to pay for renovation over there? To me, all these facts and figures are very important one. Whether it directly or indirectly impact my business model, to me it really matters. including the business model of the renovation firm itself, to me, is also very important. Because to me, no point me starting a platform in the country where I don't have a basic, where I don't talk about full understanding, a basic understanding of how business model work over there. Okay, and also the culture of the people, and also how the people, like for example, if we today expand in certain country whereby people are more on Instagram rather than Facebook, we have to change our marketing strategy over there. Or we are expanding in a country whereby the whole country are on TikTok or even on Douyin rather than on TikTok. For example, our business model, how are we going to work it out over there? Then what are the roles that are supposed to look over there? All these are part of a consideration. So definitely, like for example, when we want to start out in Malaysia, the first thing is I went to Malaysia before I even registered a company in Malaysia. I actually went to Malaysia quite a number of times. But definitely, there's one challenge that we Singaporean must face up, is that Singapore is such a small country. When we talk about Singapore, you see, when Singapore is a small country, our whole Singapore, right, is a culture ourselves, okay? But when we talk about even if we talk about Malaysia, it's a large country, so different region may have different culture. Is when we expand to overseas like Malaysia, we have to talk about which part of Malaysia should I start out first, rather than seeing Malaysia as a whole, because different region, right, the behavior already have a bit of changes already. So these are the things that we need to identify. Even if we want to start in certain country, also have to ask ourselves, which region? Like for example, when we went to Vietnam, where I actually go and study Vietnam, I went to Hanoi, I went to Ho Chi Minh. Then after that, I set my mind on if after Malaysia, the next country, if I'm going to go into Vietnam, it will be Ho Chi Minh rather than Hanoi, for example.
Yes. Very interesting in terms of the market validation that you've been doing, personally going there a number of times. Did you find it strategic to, from the onset, partner with a local, I guess, partner? Or is your strategy more trying to build from maybe local hires at the start, maybe having a general manager or someone who is on top, who knows your corporate culture, and maybe trying to transpose that into the local, I guess, startup that you will build in that country? What is the strategy going to be like? And this is a question that I'm asking you, trying to do this, not yet there, but I think in terms of your thinking process now, and maybe after a few years, we can even get back to this conversation and see whether it worked or not. So what's the thought process?
That's a very good question, John. I can see that you have very okay. You see, the option that you gave me are very good option. All are very good option, because you did mention one more option. There's one option, right? There's one more option. It won't work out, and I also know it won't work out. Means I will be in every single part of the country, which it won't work out. That's why you didn't tell me this option. Okay, so definitely, okay, right now, right, we have already started a business in Malaysia. Actually, our initial plan is to start out with a GM over there first. Rather than start, I know some company, they tend to deploy this strategy called let's find somebody from the top in my own company and move the person over there. Okay, so for me, right, what I think is that there should be somebody over there at the country which understand the country well. We don't talk about our business model. We talk about understand the country well, have a certain business model mindset, have a certain managerial level, and build a team over there. Then definitely there will be somebody. It's a hybrid. There will be somebody over here. It can be somebody at the top, or it may be myself that we have to travel among different countries to do occasional meeting, checks, etc. So definitely, end of the day, whatever option that you mentioned just now are good option. The only option that entrepreneurs should not be even thinking is me have to be, like for example, Monday I have to be in Singapore, Tuesday I have to be in Malaysia, Wednesday I have to be in Vietnam. That is the last thing we should ever do.
Right. So, it's going to be interesting how you expand to Malaysia and eventually possibly to other Southeast Asian countries as well. And I wish you the best of luck with that. Methods to Greatness, in partnership with Perfect Health Philippines, will be giving away premium healthcare products to our loyal listeners and subscribers. There will be weekly winners of Perfect Relaxer massage guns worth 9,900 pesos. And at the end of 12 weeks, we will give one lucky subscriber a chance to take home a fully loaded Perfect Health Trinity massage chair worth 200,000 pesos. All you have to do is subscribe to the Methods to Greatness podcast and follow us on our social media accounts on Facebook and LinkedIn, and share the post linked in the show notes of this episode on your feed. And if you know someone who you feel would benefit from our conversations and content on the show, tag them for more chances to win our prizes. We always want you, our listeners, to aspire to improve yourselves in every aspect of your lives so you can be the best you can possibly be. Check out the Methods to Greatest social media channels for more details. James, I will now get to the questions that I usually ask all of my guests here on Methods to Greatness. And the first one being, what makes you Asian? In particular, what makes you Singaporean?
Okay, so what makes me Asian? So if you want me to say what makes me Asian, I will say that I'm a extremely fast-paced person and I'm a extremely kiasu person. What do you mean by kiasu? Have you heard of this term kiasu?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm somebody who is extremely scared to lose.
Oh, okay.
So in
Okay.
Singapore, we have this term called kiasu. I'm a kiasu person. I'm somebody who is scared to lose, which is somebody who always want to win.
Interesting. Okay, so what is the characteristic of someone who is afraid to lose? Does it necessarily have to mean that you should win all the time?
It's more definition of somebody uh, who will who will keep on proving himself. It's actually more towards the definition of somebody who will be always eager to prove himself. Somebody who don't want to miss out on any deals. Okay, I think that's a better definition. Who don't want to miss out on deals.
Okay, is that a distinctly Singaporean trait?
Majority, I would say all.
Majority. Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting to know. My next question is, I'd like to ask you, James, do you have any modern day superhero that you look up to, modern day hero that you look up to now?
Modern day. I don't know how can we define modern days lah. Does people who pass away consider modern day?
I would think so, and possibly also to let us know what special powers would this hero or superhero possess.
Okay. Okay. In Singapore, I think a lot of people know this person. His name is called Lee Kuan Yew. He's actually the founder of Singapore. Okay. So why do I respect him? Okay. You just imagine. Singapore once belonged to British. Once belonged to British. Then after that, he went to Japanese and go back to British. So there's this guy. He actually went to university and studied law. He's actually a lawyer. So when he came back to Singapore, the first thing he want to do is not to be a lawyer. The first thing he came to after he studied law in England, he came back to Singapore. He said he want to make Singapore an independent country. So he have a vision for Singapore. He built Singapore from scratch. When I say from scratch, it's like at that time when he decided to make Singapore independent, there isn't much resources. So he actually built a lot of resources from scratch. He attract foreign investment. He made a certain decision that till now is, if you think about it, it's not an easy situation. Like for example, there was this period of time, he had to make a decision between building out trains in Singapore or airport. Okay, a lot of people to understand that why he chose the airport rather than building a train in Singapore first. Because first thing he understand is, in order for Singapore to go further, you need to attract foreign investors. So airport is definitely important, more important than train. In the end, we still have a train going on in Singapore. There's a lot of trains. But this person, he built a vision for Singapore. He actually made Singapore what Singapore is today. That is why, if you ask me his power, I will say his mindset. His strong mindset is what made Singapore what Singapore is today.
And I think that is reflected in a lot of, I guess, the successful, not just startups, but business people, just the citizenry, just having that mindset as well. I think his presence is felt throughout history and with the current success that Singapore is now enjoying. So I kind of envy you to have had a leader that has affected your country that way. And we hope for the same for the Philippines moving forward as well. So I don't know if you have, but if you were to be given a chance, James, to be able to give a commencement speech, what would your message be to the young students right now who are coming into this new world that we have, wherein there are so many challenges, particularly brought on by the pandemic, and now it's time for us to move forward? Is there anything that you would like for them to know, or is there a message that you would like to impart to them, possibly looking at you as someone who successfully founded and grown his startup, and for obvious reasons, this was not easy for you having gone through the journey that you have? What would be your message to them?
Okay, the message, the most important message, there's two lah. The first important message that I want to bring across is what doesn't kill you make you stronger. In life, we have a lot of challenges. But we must always remember lah, as long as the challenge don't kill you, it just will make you a stronger person, whether it's in your mindset or in future who you are. So what doesn't kill you make you stronger is one of the phrase that I always tell myself whenever I meet challenge. The second thing, everyone must, I think is an important thing is that a lot of people, they want success. They try to define success. End of the day, you realize that a lot of people go into this extent whereby I earn the first million, I chase my second million, I chase my 10 million. It's like an endless journey, but you never find success. So there's one person ever shared with me this sentence. It's called, success is never a destination, it's a journey. So as long as you are on a journey, you are successful.
Yeah. James, what keeps you up at night? And at the same time, what gets you up in the morning?
What gets me out in the morning is definitely not alarm clock. It's definitely my passion for the business. When it first started, it's more about me building a platform, but now it's more than just a platform. It's a platform, it's a business, it's the family culture that I built within my company itself. And because of this business itself, it wake me up. I don't really need an alarm clock. Yeah, because this is something that wake me up in the morning.
James, what keeps you up at night? Something that you're thinking about that you'd like to do, perhaps, or maybe a dream that just makes it hard for you to settle down and fall asleep. Is there anything like that? We can skip that if you want. It's
used to have lah. Used to have, but these days, I able to sleep more easily.
okay.
I used to feel that I'm not enough. Used to, because of my past. Okay, so because of my past, I always have this fear that I'm not successful enough. I always have this fear that I might fail again. I even have dreams of I suddenly have nothing. So I'm used to not able to get into sleep just because of not feeling enough, or not feeling successful enough. But then after the pandemic changed my mindset a lot. Why pandemic changed my mindset? Because it's a challenge that I think all businesses, right, didn't expect it to come. When the pandemic came, right, it actually influenced me in such an extent whereby I start to think about why do I make myself so uptight all this while? When the pandemic come, it's just like, oh, okay, it's a challenge that actually I can manage even. It's somehow rather last time I tend to take things too tight, but it's just that nowadays nowadays I practice this thing. As long as I want to go to sleep, I will actually put my work aside for that half an hour before sleep.
I'd like to know, James, how do you prepare for what you do? Any special routines that you maybe would like to share with us?
Okay, the first thing I always believe is very, very important is your Monday. The first thing that is important is your Monday. Okay, because Monday is the start of the week. So actually, we talk about a practice that I always have is Monday, I will take time to do planning. Okay, why? We are at the morning because I don't want to rush to things without plan. So the first thing that's important is definitely Monday. We should know what you have for your whole week. Okay, so when your Monday, when you after you do your planning, right, you will realize that end of the day, right, you won't be rushing into things every single day of the week. So to me, right, I tend to plan on a weekly basis. Do I plan on a monthly basis? Yes, definitely. But monthly basis, right, is more towards the start of the month or on the end of the month. Okay? But if you ask me on a daily practice, daily routine, I don't really have, but because my plan is basically more on the weekly, to make sure that I know what I can clear. So you see, sometimes our big picture come like this. We know what we have for the week. Okay, so yes, daily there may be ad hoc things going on, but once you have a rough plan of the fixed task that is happening throughout the whole week, right, it's much easier for you to slot in the ad hoc things every single day.
Okay. James, what is the one thing that you wish you could have known or learned sooner?
There's a lot of things I hope I can learn sooner.
Maybe the most important, the most important thing.
The most important thing, if you ask me, it will be calculated risk. It will be learning how to take calculated risk. Because this one I took quite a number of years to learn. Then I realized that some people they manage it much earlier in their life or in their entrepreneurial journey.
James, you're a young millennial entrepreneur, quite successful with your current company. Eventually, we will pass. We will all move on from this world. I'd like to know when that happens or by that time, what would you have hoped to achieve, and what would your epitaph say?
I believe you will say something like, a strong man with a strong view. You will say, okay. I just hope that in my life, right, no matter what challenge I face, right, I will be a strong challenge taker and I will be able to handle it with strong will. Right? Because end of the day, it's not just how successful is it doesn't matter. I know end of the day, yes, we want to achieve a certain success or inside my heart, I would love I would wish that one fine day I will be one of the top billionaire in the world or even the first trillionaire in the world. but but then end of the but then most importantly, right, I still wish that I will have much more stronger will. Not say I'm not strong at this moment of time. I just want to be a stronger man with a much stronger will. Yeah. So yeah, I hope during the time where I pass away, I see my tombstone, a strong man with a strong will.
Right. Strong man with a strong view. Pretty similar to if you're going to be in that same space as the trillionaires, maybe you could try to get there alongside Adam Newman, who I think is in a parallel space universe, but obviously that is a different story altogether, and but relevant as well in your space. And lastly, James, I'd like to find out from you, and this is a question that I ask all of my guests here on Methods to Greatness. If there was anything that you do that you have been successful at that you would like to possibly have me try on my own in my life, whether as an entrepreneur or someone who just wants to improve, what would that one thing be?
If there's one thing I want people to try, this is quite a tough question because end of the day, right, specific I won't say that because be specific because it determines for industry to personality to personality. But on the overall, right, I just feel that right, uh, everyone right, should always be right trying to be the better version of themselves by getting out of their comfort zone. Because end of the day, a lot of people, I also realize that a lot of people they are unable to achieve breakthrough because a lot of time people talk about breakthrough. I want to break through. Or if people do talk about breakthrough, they will talk about success. Success is about doing something different. Then what is doing something different is about breaking through yourself. So breaking through yourself, how do you actually break through yourself? Is to get out of your comfort zone. There are a lot of people, they just don't want to give up their comfort zone. That means you know that your comfort zone is stopping you from achieving something, right? uh, don't deceive yourself and tell yourself that it's okay, like I can keep my comfort zone and enjoy my success one day. No, just get out of the comfort zone, because a lot of time I realize when I meet hurdles, right, I can actually break through the hurdles, right, is normally when I get out of certain comfort zone. Like there bound to be a lot of things that I dislike. To say the truth, there's a lot of things that I dislike. I don't feel comfortable of doing. But it's just that every now and then I learn how to get out of comfort zone, even till today. Because it's only getting out of comfort zone is how I find new breakthrough. So I won't say it's a specific thing now. I will say that if there's something that I want everybody to do it, it will be getting out of comfort zone, because that's the only way that you can break through in your life.
That's very great advice. To me, the way I see it is doing something that scares you, right? Doing something that maybe you're not 100% ready, prepared for, but something that you'd like to do that is really a leap of faith and something that may pay tremendous dividends down the road. So James, thank you so much for all the insights that you shared with us in this conversation. And it's been a great pleasure having you on the show. And I wish you more success as you grow Renopedia and also scale it across Southeast Asia. If you are thinking of expanding to the Philippines, let me know. I totally understand where you're coming from, me having a business as well in real estate with my TV show, Philippine Realty TV. I do understand the two-sided marketplace that you play, because it's something that we've also kind of played with in the B2B, B2C market for a number of years. So this was a conversation that I truly learned a lot from, and also, I guess, understood just because we are in the same space as well. James, any other message for our audience, or if there is any way that we could support you or follow you or find you online, please share with our listeners and viewers.
Okay, so you can follow our Facebook at facebook.com/Renopedia, Renopedia. So do follow us on Instagram also. It's called Renopedia SG Home.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, James, for guesting here on Methods to Greatness.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me here too. Have a great day.
Methods to Greatness is powered by Converge. Experience better. If you'd like to work with Converge, check them out at gofiber.ph or connect with them through their social media channels. Methods to Greatness is also brought to you by Perfect Health Philippines, a leading provider of innovative first-class massage and healthcare products across Southeast Asia. If you would like me to interview anyone on the face of the earth and want them on the podcast, or if you want to collaborate with us for future content or sponsorship opportunities, or if you just have any recommendations on how we can get better, just send us an email at john@methodstogreatness.com. That's john@methodstogreatness.com. Until then, we'll see you next time.